Hi, welcome back to Empowered. I'm your host, Kelly, and I feel like I haven't been here in a minute. I know I haven't been here in a minute. It's probably been at least maybe a month and a half since I've been here and been able to record. And I would love to say that it's like been because my life has been just so busy, 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 and all this like joy and still like I don't know, but all rainbows and sunshine, right? But I that's not true. Being honest and real is like, yes, life kind of gets in the way um, sometimes, and just your schedule is busy. But I feel like I haven't been that kind of busy. I feel like a lot of the reason why I haven't been able to come and record has obviously scheduling, but a lot, if I'm being like very transparent, is a lot of it has been I've been very torn or felt like how can I go and talk and try to give some wisdom or empower, right? How can I do empower and try to empower somebody else when I'm still kind of struggling? And when I say struggling, struggling with like just feelings of hopelessness, some loneliness. Even though I've had many answered prayers and there has been so much joy and so much peace on this side of, you know, what's been going on, the sale of my house and being able to be out of that place. Yes, there's been good, but there's also, if I'm being very transparent and real, there's also been a lot of still dark days, sadness, and just like a internal struggle with, waiting on God and knowing that He's working on these prayers that I've been praying, and it's crazy because people will say God's blessed you with a lot of patience. You have so much patience, but I feel like I have patience with probably with littles, with kids, and I have patience in other situations. But I feel like when I'm being very, but I could be wrong. I feel like I'm being very impatient, probably with myself, and where I feel like I want to be and what I should be, maybe what I should be doing, or maybe it's more so that I'm being impatient with God and the path that He has me on right now. But I just have to keep going back to and reminding myself, or letting the Holy Spirit, letting God remind me of, never have I failed you, Kelly. Yes, sometimes I ask you to wait, or sometimes I say no, not right now, but it's for good reason. And like I like I was saying, I felt very kind of hypocritical, I guess, to say how can I come when I know I'm kind of still struggling internally, and there's some things that I'm still dealing with. Um, but I know that God wants me to keep showing up, keep doing what He's asked me to do, and then also keep walking in that direction that He has me, that path that He has me on, uh, when it's hard, when I don't feel like it. Those are the it's a true test of my faith, I think. And maybe some of y'all can understand where I'm coming from, or feel the same way right now, right? Because I'm sure that it's not just me. And what I've had to, you know, the days that I don't feel like getting up out of bed, or I don't feel like praying, or I don't feel like going to church or listening to worship, turning on a podcast, whatever, those days I have to just make myself do it sometimes. And a lot of times God will bring someone or something in front of my, basically in front of my face or across my path to almost like force me to do that. So I'm saying all this to say, like, don't think that I'm just, oh, okay, I got my answered prayers to some of the things that I've been praying and I'm done with empowered. I know that I'm still supposed to be here for whatever time he wants me to do this, but I want to be honest and say it's a struggle a lot of days, but I'm trying to do better and be more intentional about where he has me and what he wants me to be doing. All the stuff that has happened, yeah, some good, some still the same. Some things have, come out. I've come out of this better. I feel like 2025 has been a year of struggle. And I read something a few days ago, or actually it was probably a week or so ago, because I actually wanted to try and come record last week, but schedules, like I said, life does get in the way, schedules get in the way. I wanted to come and record last week, but I wasn't able to because of scheduling. But it was something that I had read, and I was like, okay, I know this is what God is speaking to me and what I need to kind of touch on, and maybe someone else can relate. Is the, like, doing it when I don't feel like it, doing it when I feel like I'm being broken. And I know that there's a reason for the breaking, or there's the reason for a delay. I probably have lived a lot of my life like in that not knowing, because I'm never going to have all the answers. I'm never going to always know what's coming next. And it's easy for me to show up and do it, or allow the breaking or the crushing, when I know that there's something good on the other side of it, or I can somewhat see that, what's coming is good, whether it be monetary or just, something that I'm going to get some joy out of, right? But it's really hard to be obedient and to stay and withstand the crushing or the breaking, when you can't see any of that, right? Or what feels like you can't see, what it feels like, all, you're in the dark. It's darkness that you see all around you. But what I read, and it was just something that I kind of thought on quite a bit, meditated, and just let God kind of let it speak to me right where I am. And so it says, why does God break? This is from faith walking, or walking in faith, and it's a Instagram page. But why God breaks the woman he wants to use. And it's just kind of talking about, don't despise this season that you're in, the season of breaking or crushing. We sometimes see it as like being broken. This is literal words sometimes, and I'm trying to be mindful of my words in this period of time or in this season, just because I know my words are powerful, and I don't want to give the enemy any more power than what he thinks he has. So just in this season of being crushed or broken, it seems like kind of like you're gonna die, like you're being broken, you're being crushed, your whole spirit. But this post was talking about, don't despise this season. It's not destruction, it's not death, it's construction. It's not burial, but planting. So when he's breaking us, it's breaking us for our own good, breaking us of some of the habits that we have, selfishness, because I think I've probably talked about this before, comfort. It's easy to stay in our comfort, right? I know I do not like change, and that's kind of what I've been going back and forth with, like these last couple months, for sure this last month or so is like everything that I'm still dealing with. Is it what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I just be happy or always feel happy? But I know that's not real life, right? My everyday life is not always going to be just 100% joy and happiness all the time. Like, I am going to have some difficult days. I'm probably going to have some very boring and like non-eventful days. And that does not mean that God isn't using me or can't use me on those days. Like, those days count just as much as the ones where there is breakthrough, or the ones where I am just like being really real, where I'm on my face on the floor just begging God to tell me what to do and where to go and why am I feeling like this. And so that's what I was saying. Like, I'm like, all these racking my brain, I feel like, of like, why am I feeling this way still? What's going on with me? Like, is it because, all these prayers have not been answered? Or is it because I'm not working? Is it, a number of things? Like, all the change that has happened in the last few months, as much as I wanted it, it's a huge shock to my everyday life of not having my kids there, the routine of this is my house and this is where I've lived for 20 something years, like all of that. And I just felt God saying, like, it is all of those things and none of them. Like, you just have to continually keep pressing into Him and keep letting Him use me, even on the sad days, on the boring days, on the days like I don't feel like doing it, because there's something that he's doing in me. And I think it is the comfort that I'm used to. That part is what He's trying to break me of. Like, when you're in this comfortable place, you don't necessarily rely on, or I don't. I'm saying this and as me and God talking to me. When you're in this place of comfort, Kelly, you don't allow me to use you the way I need to use you, or the way you are supposed to be used by me for me, because I'm so comfortable and I don't really have to. I don't feel like I have to rely on Him when I'm in that place of comfort. And I'll give an example. So I say when I'm not working, but I've been working all this time. It's just kind of working on my time. I haven't been like an in-person job. I've taken the jobs that I've worked and taken the jobs that I've wanted in the last probably year and a half, almost 2 years, right? Since I was laid off from the one job. And just all of this going on the last, month and a half, 2 months, I, for whatever reason, saw a job posting, applied for it, went and interviewed, liked the people interviewing. The company seems like a good company, and I've actually gotten the job. And so I start next Tuesday. But there's this internal struggle with me of like, why do I really want to go and do this? I'm going to be on somebody else's, time, clocking in, clocking out, set Monday through Friday, like, schedule, reporting in person, all of that. And if I go back and look back over, the last probably 5 years of my life, every single time God is about to do something in my life, He makes me uncomfortable where I am. And that's what sometimes He moves me. Like, obviously the being laid off, that was Him moving me, because I was talking about it. I was praying to Him. And there was so many times that I know He was telling me to leave, but I was like, need a paycheck. I like to pay my bills. It's, only 18 minutes drive from my house. All those things, right? Of talking myself out of what I knew God was saying. It's time for you to leave now. This is not where I have you anymore. And so I do believe that is what he's doing with this new chapter. Me going back to work in person, and basically a 9 to 5. But everything in me is like, no, don't do it. Obviously, we've talked about this, or I've talked about this many times. We all depend on money to live and survive and pay our bills and all of that. And granted, I don't have the household bills like I used to, but I still have a standard of living that I have acquired over the years. And so I just know that for whatever reason, it was in God's timing that the job was posted. I applied, interviewed, and even got the job. That was all him positioning me and this job opportunity, and lining it up. And so I just have to trust him, trust his timing, trust where he's taking me. But I promise you, everything in me is fighting against that. But I would be a fool to pass up this job opportunity because it's, a good company to work for. The pay is more than what I originally said. Starting out, I wanted to be at this. Now, that is not to say that they may have given me more because they know it's going to be a load on me, but I just feel like I need to trust God in where he's positioning me to go. And I don't know if this will be, I'll be there with the company 5 years or 3 months. I really don't know. I just know that I have to continue to go where I feel like God is leading me. And it's funny because I even prayed that, and I was talking to God before I even came here, and was saying, God, if it's not for me, if this has been me, because that's also something that I struggle with too, is sometimes I'm praying prayers and I'm like, God, if this is me, show me or take it from me, because I may be praying this, but I don't want this if it's not from you. That's probably a whole nother topic that we could talk about. But so I legit did pray that as I was coming here, I think, a little bit ago. And when I picked up my phone to read this IG post that I was kind of, and I haven't even gotten all the way through it, so I will pause in a minute and go back to that. But just as I was getting on my phone to read Walk in Faith, I saw a text message that popped up, and it's actually from it's funny. It's actually from my new boss, and they're just showing my whole office setup. So if that's not God, I don't know what is. So yeah, but that's, I guess, big news. Not everybody knows that. A few people around me know that most people don't know that I had even been looking for a job again, like an in-person job. And then only a few people know that I got the job and will start in a couple of weeks. So I chose my start date just because I'm keeping two of the babies for my son David, who I'm recording today on the 22nd, so happy birthday, David. And so I just chose to start after I keep them. That way it's not an interruption in like the office and my work being there. And they were totally okay with that. Like I said, everyone that I've met has been really, really nice. The company, my position comes with benefits, and so I know that it's probably what I need. That's kind of why I feel like God prompted me to look for something in person again, is because I felt like I said, racking my brain, like what's going on with me? Why do I feel this way? And I think I need stability. I need routine again, maybe, and so that's why I feel like all of this has come at this time. But so yeah, that'll change a little bit of when I'm able to record, I think. But I still know that I want to try and record and do a weekly recording if possible, if my schedule and their schedule lines up to where I'm able to do that. So stay tuned for that, hopefully. And all of this time that I haven't recorded, I actually missed the 1 year mark of me recording Empowered, which is crazy that time has gone by that quickly, and that I'm still able to show up and do this. And I know that that is why I felt led to, like, okay, I need to be recording, because I haven't felt like I've heard God say, you need to close the chapter on that, or you're done with Empowered. This is where I have you next. So, but I did just in September, the first week of September was 1 year of recording Empowered. So I thought that was kind of neat, and just how quickly time passes as well. But earlier I talked about this post, Walk in Faith, and where I was talking about why God breaks the woman he wants to use. And so the next slide says, everyone wants the oil, but no one wants the crushing, which is true, meaning we want to reap the benefits of our faith and of being obedient and walking through something that God is going to bring us through, but we don't want to walk through it. We don't want to do the actual hard work, right? It says everyone wants the crown, but nobody wants the cross. The truth, God doesn't use what he hasn't broken. The next slide says, before God elevates a woman, he empties her. And that's kind of where I was talking about. He has to remove I say comfort, but it's more complacency, just being stagnant. He wants to remove that from me, so that he can actually use me. In what capacity, I don't know. Or, I mean, it may still always be this here on Empowered, or possibly doing something else. I couldn't tell you. But so it said, before God elevates a woman, he empties her. Hannah cried before she conceived. Esther was refined before she was crowned. Mary was misunderstood before she carried the Messiah. Brokenness always comes before birthing. Why the breaking? And this right here is probably very true with me. It says, because pride can't carry destiny, comfort can't birth intercession. When God breaks you, he is removing everything that would make you say, I did this by myself. So, the comfort or the complacency, of staying in some place that, I don't have to do the hard stuff, or I did this on my own. Look at all this that I've been able to live through, walk through, and do on my own, when it's easy, when life is not so hard and there's not things that I'm having to push through, right? The next slide says, the crushing equals breakthrough. Olives are bitter until they are crushed. Only then do they release oil. Grapes are crushed to make wine. Seeds grow in darkness. Diamonds form under pressure. The anointing doesn't flow from perfection. It flows from pressure. Which is so true. And it really did resonate with me, like the seeds in the darkness, where I felt like there was so much darkness, but maybe God is allowing some of the dark, some of the still feeling, kind of feeling empty or lonely or like out of sorts some days. because that's the days that I get up. I don't want to, but I have to force myself to get up, and I'm relying on God to get me through the day. And a lot of times it starts with me on my face, literally getting up out of bed and just laying on the floor crying out to God, like, please, I don't want to feel this way. Because then I start to feel very, very selfish and very, like, I've said this, I feel like such a crybaby and almost bratty, because of how blessed I have been. Yes, there's been bad in my life. There's things that I've had to go through that don't seem fair, but like, I have such a blessed life. I feel very fortunate to live the life that I've lived, like no major health issues with not just me, but my children. And like, there's so many things that I have to be thankful for. And so when I'm on the floor, just, face down, asking God to please take this from me, I think that's when he's like, okay, she's done, being full of herself or full of the things in the world that she feels like can fulfill her. Now I can do what I need to do in her. Now, and so like those things are really truthfully what has been getting me through week by week, a lot of the times day by day. And when I say I'm try to be transparent and honest, is I can be, because I'm pretty sure that there's other people out there that have felt this way once or twice in their life, or maybe what seems like a lifetime of feeling this way. And I just want to say you're not alone, and I absolutely can relate to that feeling of low, of emptiness. But I know that every single time I'm on empty and I run to God, I'm at his feet, or I'm on my face on the floor and just asking him to take this from me, I promise you, he always fills my cup. He always fills me back up. And it's not always a snap of the finger. It is, okay, now get up, go take a shower. Now get in your car and turn on the worship music. And I'll stop right there, because I do think that worship has been such a weapon for me to fight against some of this. Like, there was the last trip I took, I think I did like a road trip, and I think a valet guy, when he parked my car, did something to the radio, and so then it was stuck on like Sirius FM, and obviously I don't have that. I didn't pay for it, so I couldn't listen to my radio. I wasn't able to listen to my stations that play worship. And I just, a couple of weeks ago, or yeah, last month, my battery died and I had to take it to the guy that's worked on my car, and he was able to fix the radio part of it. It was actually my screen had gone out, and so he replaced my screen, and so now I'm able to turn on my radio, all the stations, all that. And I promise you, it's like day and night, from driving in my car with almost silence to being able to turn on the radio and listen to worship. It's like it's kind of reignited some of the fight in me, I feel like, being able to listen to that. And I just heard something on the radio. I'm literally driving here. We were driving here, where it was saying there's studies on singing and worship, and what it does to depression and the level. I'm probably not saying exactly what they mentioned, how they worded it, but it was just like there's studies on what singing will do to somebody's mood, and how it elevates like levels in you. And absolutely, I know that to be so true with me and with worship. You know, I've even, it just, it's helped so much. So I know that that was something else that was in God's timing as well. For yes, it was a inconvenience and it cost me money because my battery was dead and it was late at night, and I had to call a tow truck and then pay for the the new battery and all of that. Yeah, that was an inconvenience, but it got me. I got a new battery and my radio is working now, and I'm able to listen to my worship music, and so it's worth it. It was worth it to, be able to have my radio back, and obviously the screen is repaired now, but, and I could think of it on the other hand of maybe God was like, I need you in complete silence so that I can get you to listen to me or talk to me. Not that I don't still talk and pray and all of it, have those conversations in the car with God when there's no music playing, but it, like I said, I could just look at it on the flip side and be like, well, maybe he wanted me in silence for a few weeks so that I would hear his voice more clearly. And I couldn't tell you that I did or not, but I know that I'm thankful, I'm glad, and it's those little things like that. I'm grateful and thankful that I have my radio back and that I can listen to worship now. But those little things are truly something to be grateful for, something to be thankful for. And when I truly do mean that, like, I'm very blessed. I feel very fortunate to have the life that I have, to have lived through some of the things that I've lived through and things that I've done and experienced, even the bad, because it's gotten me to this point where I am right now. And I do wonder if anyone else kind of feels that way, like, what was the point of all this bad stuff that happened? What was the point of this or this happening? We feel like, or the way I've looked at it at times has been, nothing good came from it, or what was the point of all that, right? And then very quickly God's like, but this is why I allowed that to happen, and this is why. It's all those little things. If I'm quiet enough and I'm really tuned into him and discerning his voice, I'm able to, like, okay, bring it all back into, he puts it in perspective for me, but I'm able to kind of like see it the way he's laying it out for me. But that it really is a true question of, like, does anyone else feel that way, or is it just me? So people, you'll have to let me know in the comments or text or send me a message, but let me know if I'm the only one that feels this way sometimes. Because like I said, I do or have felt very bratty in the last month and a half, and like the biggest crybaby. While I'm trying to search, like, what is going on with me? Why do I feel this way? Why am I not happy? Why do I, why do I feel blah some days? Why do I wake up and just feel like blah? And when I know that I'm so blessed. And earlier I said I'm mindful of my words because I don't want to give the enemy too much power, but possibly is, could be depression, or could just be all the life changes that I've had happen in the last 3 to 6 months, right? Heck, I'll even go and say the whole 2025, because we're only a couple months from 2026. Again, crazy to think, like, how fast time goes by, but I'm probably giving y'all way too much information about me, or could it be where I'm at in life? I'll say my age because I have a big birthday coming up in basically a month and 1 day from now. So all of this to say I'm still here, and I'm thankful for everyone that still asks, am I recording, reaches out, and who is still here listening and waiting for me to record again. So hopefully I'll be back in another week and can do all of this again. Hopefully with a different message, whatever God lays on my heart. Yeah, I know that in just a couple of months, I'll be back at the top of the year, the beginning of the year, and I know in January of 2025, when I recorded, I was hopeful that I would have more people come on every month, at least one a month. I can't remember exactly what all I wanted to talk about, but I do know that those were my intentions, my goals for me, for Kelly, and for what I wanted for Empowered. But I know that God quickly changed some of those plans, and because he was going to take me down what I feel like a very winding, narrow, scary road for me to go down. And I'm still kind of, obviously the wind has gotten straightened out quite a bit more, but still a scary road ahead. And I say that because I'm walking into a new job in a week from now, and a whole new, arena with all new people and a new company and bosses and all that ahead of me. For me, a little scary just because I've not been in a in-person office setting in almost 2 years. So, but I know that it's for a reason. And maybe next week when I come back, it'll be, or the next time I record, it'll be to tell you God revealed really quickly when I got there that this is where he has me and why and all of that. Or I may still be here saying, yeah, week 1 was not what I expected. It was tough, or I may be still doing this internal struggle of not wanting to work, not wanting to do an in-person job, not wanting to work there. So, and I say that lightly because one day they might stumble across this. I don't know. And it's nothing personal. It's just me. And I think I know that it is everything to do with me coming out of my comfort zone and staying where I am. I do think I've spoke about this before too. Like, I tend to stay places longer than I probably should. And I know that because God always has made me uncomfortable, and then he shows me, this is why I was making you uncomfortable, because now I need you to move. Now I need you to step into or step out of this place and into where I'm trying to take you. So next week, I'm hopeful to be back here doing this all again. And that's all I have for today.